बापू बापू जय श्री माता कुछ कपड़े अमृतहस्ताय विद्महे महाशक्तिनेत्राय धीमहि तन्नो वाजि प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सुवर्णवृष्टिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः सुधान्यवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः कल्याणवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः विभूतिवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः सुवर्णवृष्टिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः सुधान्यवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः कल्याणवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः विभूतिवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः। अम्मा सुवर्णवृष्टिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः सुधान्यवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः कल्याणवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः विभूतिवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तसन्मङ्गलानि भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ तत्सत्। सर्वं श्री जगदम्बार्पणमस्तु सर्वं श्री गुरुचरणार्पणमस्तु। जय श्री माता 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 जय श्री माता। Good evening. Sit straight, take a long breath. Breathe slowly. There is a close relationship between the mind and also the breath. If you breathe slowly, you will become calm. That's a great technique that has been found to cool down the mind. So when we breathe slowly, the mind comes to the calm. And also it is a fact that the animals who breathe very slowly, they live long. The animals which has a fast breath, they die. That's how. That is why it is called as pranayama. Pranayama means controlling your respiration. Again, you sit for 1 minute. You breathe slowly. Inhale and exhale very slowly. And repeat Omkar after me. Om. हरिः ॐ हसन्मुखाय विद्महे प्रेमरूपाय धीमहि तन्नो विरजानन्दः प्रचोदयातु ॐ अमृतहस्ताय विद्महे महाशक्तिनेत्राय धीमहि तन्नो अप्पाजिः प्रचोदयातु ॐ सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते जय नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते. Let us spare some 10 to 15 or 20 minutes. What is divine or what is God? And what is our approach and how we approach? And what is the purpose? That's all. That's very important for us also. In fact, the God is omnipresent. That's all the religions accept that. No doubt about it. And the God is not just a name and a form, it's a power, it's an energy. Every one of us know, whether you believe it or not, there is one great force that plays a very important role in each one of our life. Long back, the human race started thinking, what is that which is playing a great role in our life? What is that power which is acting on our life, which are directing us? Because each one of us have that an experience almost every time, that there is a force or a great power or the energy behind it. It is doing everything. Then it is called as, and modern science it has called as the cosmic energy. And in earlier Vedanta it is called as Prajna, Chaitanya, Parabrahma, in various other names it is called, but that is the truth. Long thousands of years back, the man has started to move towards energy. That energy which is responsible for all other type of energy like solar energy, atomic energy, wind energy, like that. That is the source. What is that source? They know that there is something, but they cannot see it. They cannot feel through their sense organs. And the mind cannot conceive that. But they know that there is one thing. What is that? That search has started going. Very long ways the search has started. Then they named it as God, because it is behind our all sense organs and also the mind. The mind cannot conceive anything until there is a name and a form. Mind conceive only if there is a name and a form. That is, I have to say, that is the drawback of the mind. It cannot conceive everything, and it cannot conceive which is there is no name and the form. Then they started giving so many names and forms to that God, and that is the divine. The name God is different, but the divine is different. They gave the name the divine, and they prostrated. That's how the concept of divine has started. And many experiments were started. How best we can make use of this divine power for the welfare of the mankind. We know even today also, all the nations are doing research. That R&D section, research and development, is going on very fast. All nations, 24/7, they are conducting the various researches, how best we can make use of the physical powers like solar energy or wind energy or atomic energy, earthquake energy. The latest one we have found is AI, artificial intelligence. How best we can. But thousands of years back, India, the Bharat, stood to the whole world and said there is one more energy which is responsible for all the other types of energy, that is the divine power, which can also be made use for the welfare of the mankind. This is the greatest contribution of the India, the Bharat, to the whole world. It not only declared, it shows to the whole world that there is one more power called the divine power, which can also be used for the welfare of the mankind. That trend has come like that only. Recently we have heard the words of Swami Vivekananda. He said, his words are really taking me along. Swami Vivekananda. He had been to Chicago here for an international seminar on religion. And in that hall there were 7,500 people were sitting there. But no one was Indians, no one was Hindu. All type of people from all the religion, from all over the world. That is why that Chicago conference is very important in the history, were there. Since morning, the discourses or the presentations of the various religious leaders or the religious people taking place. First day, the last man to speak is Swami Vivekananda. Then the anchor addressed him as, now Swami Vivekananda, the Hindu monk from India. Then Swami Vivekananda, if you go through the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, you will find all these things. Then what happened? Swami Vivekananda just got up and looked to the whole audience. 7,500 people were there. Almost it's the ending because he is the last person to speak. He just uttered, my dear brothers and sisters of America. That's all what he said. The great surprise is the whole 7,500 people got up and clapped for 2 minutes. The question remains, what made the people, not one or two, not hundreds, the whole lot of 7,500 people were there in the Chicago conference. The whole, we should always remember, no one was Indian there. No one was a Hindu. The whole lot of 7,500 people started clapping for 2 minutes. Just he uttered, my dear brothers and sisters of America. Some of the conclusions has been drawn that all others were speaking as, my dear ladies and gentlemen of America, but he is the only person addressing the gathering as brothers and sisters of America. But that is not the truth. The real truth is that if you go through the book called The Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda, you will find that he is not the person to address the gallery as brothers and sisters of America. He is not the first person on that day, he is the third person. Two other persons who spoke on that day had addressed the assembly as brothers and sisters of America, but the words of Swami Vivekananda, the my dear brothers and sisters of America, made the whole lot to get up and clap. Then what is that? It is not the words of Swami Vivekananda that had made the people to get up and clap. It's the power with those words that is called as the spiritual power. The words within those, the power with those words that had made the people to get up and stand and clap. And that power, which was associated with the noise or the sound, it is called as the spiritual power. Spirituality is not just reading some books, not just hearing some discourses. No, it's a great practice to acquire that power. If you could able to get and acquire that power and transmit it to others, then it is called as the spiritual power. That is called the spiritual power. The science, modern science says even the 6th standard Student can say, what is law of conservation of energy? They says, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but one form of energy can be converted into another form. Yes, that is the truth. But this truth was known to rishis thousands of years back. They were in search of that. They got success in it. They know that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but only one form of energy can be converted into another form. Then they started how best we can do this with the divine power. Can we acquire that divine power? Can we convert it? And can we transmit? This is not an experiment by one generation. Generation to generation, this experiment was carried throughout. It took hundreds of years for this. Ultimately, they got the success. They conducted various experiments on this, and this is called as the divine experiments. It is quoted in Atharvana Veda specifically. There are 4 Vedas, and the Atharvana Veda especially deals with this type of power, the power which can be, you can acquire, convert, and transmit. Not thousands, lakhs of people comes to me for the blessings. They say, bless me. What do you mean by blessings? Oh, you have good, let you have good health, let you have a marriage, let you have an issue, let you get a good job or a hike. That's only a wish. But blessings is not a wish. What is real blessing means? The transferring of divine power from one to another is called the blessings. You should have the knowledge of acquiring the divine power, and you should also know the art of transferring the divine power to the others. Then only it is called as the blessings. Because once the blessings takes place, it has to happen, it will happen. Wishes are may happen, may not happen. But when the blessings is taken, it has to happen, it will happen. That is how the divine power, and this is the real spirituality, you should be able to acquire that power which is behind your sense organs, which you cannot even think, but it is there, that you should be able to acquire yourself, convert it, and transmit it. This is the great art and the contribution given by the India, the Bharat, the long time ago, very long time ago. These experiments were continuous. If I quote one example, you will be able to understand. In earlier days, there used to be wars. How the war was taking place, there was no missiles, there was no bombs, etc. They were fighting with the bow and an arrow. That's the basic war instrument they were used to have, the bow and the arrow. What they were doing, they were making ready to shoot an arrow with the bow. Before shooting, what they were doing, they used to chant Agni mantra and enforce the power of Agni to that arrow. Arrow is nothing but a steel rod with a triangle in front. What they were doing, before shooting, they used to chant Agni mantra and enforce the Agni power to it. Then they used to shoot it. That is called as Agnastra. This is all the experiment they have conducted. This is not just a story. That's the truth. They used to, before shooting the arrow, they used to chant Varuna mantra and enforce the Varuna energy to that rod, and they used to shoot. That had become Varunastra. Similarly, they used to chant and enforce Naga, Subramanya. Then it used to become Nagastra. So this type of experiments to acquire the divine power to ourselves and able to convert it and transmit to others, this is the greatest contribution that is being given, and that has been forgotten even by the Indians now. Why the Indians also has forgotten is a great tragedy. I don't want to go to the history. But it is very clear that one Macaulay had come. It is there in the history. It is not my words. Macaulay from England had come. India was ruled by the British people those times. He had come, Macaulay, I remember his name very correctly. Macaulay he had come. He said that if we want to rule India for another thousands of years, we have to change their education system. That was there in his. Till then, the system of Gurukula was there in India. Then he has changed the same to the modern education system. When he has tried to change the education system in India, called the modern education, then we lost our whole track of all these things. That is the tragedy that is there. But still that is truth, it is there. Yes, you can have that power, you have the ability to convert it and transmit it and make it. After 30 years of spiritual seeking, I wanted to test with my permission of my Guru, Swami Vivekananda Saraswati, and started doing, yes, whether it is just a statement or just it is a concept. Is it true even nowadays? I wanted to test. And this test had begun about 5 years back, just 5 years back. But not hundreds, but not thousands, but the lakhs of people started getting the results of this. That is why this is called as a divine experiment, and that is being carried. You cannot even believe how it happens. Those who are in the group, we started all this thing through WhatsApp group. It has started with a small 1 or 2 groups. By over 4 years, the groups itself has crossed more than 2,000 groups. Now presently we are having more than 10 lakhs people all over the world. All over the world, 10 people because their experience, yes, it is possible. Many such things, not 1 or 2. A patient having 4th stage of cancer, doctor has declared, the hospital has declared that no, he can live for another 5 months. You take care of him well. But when they gone through this process, even after 6 or 8 months, they have gone for the scanning. After MRI scanning, again the doctor is surprised and declared that he is free from cancer and there is no cancer symptoms at all in him. He started coming with tears in his hand. Not this is one. Recently, about 15 days back, a lady, she sent a message. She had no children or the issues for 32 years after marriage. She was 48, about to have menopause time. She was reaching. All type of IVF, IOUs, all other experiments has failed. She came to one of the Sathsangha, she followed the things. To the great surprise, after her marriage, after 32 years of her marriage, she is 48, she got conceived naturally, and the scanning has shown that the heartbeat had come and the baby inside the womb is good. This is not 1 or 2 or 3. And in every field, many used to come to say, I had been seeking for a higher education in US. Many such cases have happened recently. I had got a university, but I have not got the visa. That's the problem. I have to go within such and such time, but visa still it is not processed. Don't worry, you go. It happens. This happens not just for 1 or 2 or hundreds of thousands. It has been taken. It is not by one person. It is by the divine power. That is the greatest truth, and that is the greatest surprise to the whole world. That's why I have been invited. I have not come to US to visit. The devotees from California, that is San Francisco, they have invited me to come here and stay here for at least for 1 month. That is why I have came here. And she had requested me to come at least for one day to this place. That's why I have come here. After 1 month, I am going back to India and I stay there for just 15 days for Navaratri. Then I have been invited and already they have booked the tickets and the visas is over for visiting to Australia. The first it will start from Sydney, from there to Melbourne, from there to Perth, and next to the New Zealand, like that. The very purpose is that yes, it is possible. One of the important source and important power we have forgotten, the divine power. The divine just not meaning some prayers, chanting something, belling and doing pujas. I am not against to that. Yes, it is true. But that itself is not divine. But that itself is not divine. The real divinity has, you have that power. You can also do that. You can also do that. You can have to that. That does not mean you have to spare whole of your time for that. Remember, I was also in a bank. I was working for 40 years in a bank. I was retired as a deputy regional manager in a bank for just retired 6 years back. That does not come in your way of moving in the spiritual field. Whatever you are, wherever you are, you can move this. You have the power to each. That is what Swami Vivekananda says. He says his 3 lines, his 3 words has made me to come to this. After practicing the various spiritual path for the 30 years, his 3 words, he says, Swami Vivekananda says, Shunvantu Vishve Amrutasya Putraha. Oh Amruta Putras, you just hear to me. There is no guarantee that you will be born as human being in your next birth. He declares, no one knows that you will be given a human birth in your next birth. You will get a human form in the next birth. Who guarantees you? Shunvantu Vishve Amrutasya Putraha. Just you hear to me. There is no guarantee that you will be born as human being in your next birth. Then what we have to do during this birth? He never uttered Atma Sakshatkara, Moksha, Nirvana, Kaivalya. He has not uttered any of such words. That's why I like him a lot. He says another 2 sentences. He continues. He says, each soul is potentially divine. Each soul. It is not one me. It is not one you. Each soul is potentially divine. That means the divinity is there in each one of us. Each one of us. He makes it very clear. Each soul is potentially divine. The divine power is there in each one of us. Each one of us. Whoever he or she may be, wherever he or she may be, everyone has the divine power. He declares, each soul is potentially divine. That divinity is there. Then what you have to do? Invoke the divinity in each soul. And that is the purpose of life. He declares, what the divinity is there within you, you take out. You invoke that. The very purpose of life. Invoke the divinity in each soul. That's the purpose of life. That is what we have to think today. Each one of us, the divinity. Because the world, not one nation, the whole world is in a transitional stage regarding the religion. Because some of the rituals has been considered as the religion. No. There is a lot of difference between a ritual and a religion. All rituals need not be religious. When I had been to Sydney last year, I was given a small pamphlet. The child was going to the school and he bought me one pamphlet and showed me. There they have given, they had not done anything. They have the whole Australia has, I don't know whether it has happened in US also, I don't know. But I'm very sure that I have got the information from you that Australia, they have conducted the survey on religion. The most surprising is that naturally Christianity is the greatest religion, that's no doubt about it, but 20% of the people ticked no religion. They don't want to recognize themselves with any religion. Not Christianity, not Hindu, not Muslim. They don't want. Not one or two. 20% of the whole lot of a nation, they have declared no religion. Why? If you are a Christian, you be Christian, no problem. If you are a Hindu, you be Hindu. If you are a Muhammadan, you be Muslim, no problem at all. But when you tick there is no religion, now I do not belong to any religion, then what's the future? Then what is the mentality? And how the Lord is taking the religion in our? I observed the people going to the church are becoming less and less. I asked them why it is happening so. Because whatever may be the religion, the whole lot of the people are frustrated because they had many questions within them which our people cannot answer. That is the whole tragedy. The religion has become in such a way that I direct you to do this, you do this. But if you ask, why I should do, there will be no answer. That's the tragedy. The whole lot of the youth, they are not ready to hear all these things. They want all the logical proof or the logical arguments and the scientific base to believe something. That is the modern youth. That is why they are taking place. Here, why we are doing, whatever may be the religion, we are doing some rituals and confirming that itself as religion, it has become a most trouble. It is the most factor which is dragging us back. That's why it is very important to know whoever you are, wherever you are having the divine power within yourself. Invoke the divinity in each soul. That is the purpose of life. If you are able to invoke the divinity in yourself, your life will be somewhat completely different. You know what is that bliss. You know how to use that power for the welfare of the mankind. This is what is being happened for the. Just I started trying to do all these things for the past 5 years after my sadhana for the past 30 years. It is giving such a wonderful and unimaginable results that I myself feel how it is possible. How it is possible. Yes, it is possible. This is not a new experiment that is being taken. It has been done many persons a long back, but totally we have forgotten to go with that. And this making use of the divine power is very important. That too nowadays, because we are in a transitional stage. That too after coming of artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence is questioning you. The artificial intelligence is not just a supporter to you, it is also a competitor to you. It is not just a supporter to you, it's a competitor to you. So far we were competing with the human race. Now the time has come to compete with the machines which we have created. See how nice? Where it will go? Where will end? Here. Now again, you have to grow. You have to use that power which the machine do not have, the artificial intelligence, the chips do not have. That is the divine power. That artificial intelligence can get all the types of power, but it cannot get this divine power. This can only acquired by the human beings. If you could able to acquire that and do many things, that is the greatest thing, that what we can contribute to the whole world. Real development of a nation or a person or the society or the whole world depends upon what facilities you have given. That is not the thing, but how much you got able to invoke the divinity in each self. The self that itself declares what is the real progress. Real progress of an individual or a nation or the world do not depend upon the increase of the physical comforts, but it always depends upon how best your what is the divinity within self has been exploited or invoked. That gives you the everything. That is the stage where we have come, and this is the time when we have to go back and look back to that. We have forgotten. We are looking only forward. Many doctors, a team of doctors, the gynecologists, came to me, because if you are in the group, you will be understanding there are so many such, not one or two or thousands such. 5th month, she is pregnant, she is getting bleeding, and there is no water inside. Everything. Doctor has suggested that she should be aborted immediately. Then she comes for a blessings. After 15 days, when she go back, doctor again conducts the scanning. The scanning shows the results is good and the baby is well, there is no problem at all. With both reports they are having in hand, they come and ask me, Guruji, what you are doing? Tell me. Tell us what you are doing. This is also what we have done 15 days back. This is just after 15 days back. The complete change has taken place. What you are doing? Then I told them, I am not doing anything. The reality is that if you could able to acquire the superpower within yourself or the divinity, all these things happens, but you are not having the knowledge of happening what it is happening. That is the truth. That is why this experiment is being carried to that. Last but not the least is that giving a lecture or a discourse on these subjects is very nice to hear. But until and unless you experience that, that is no use for you. And you cannot have the belief or the faith until and unless you have the experience. Because the experience plays a very important role. It is not the experience of others, but you yourself should have the experience. Then only you understand, and you could able to understand what is this divine power. For that we were conducting so many experiments on that. A few of that experiments that just I am giving you a currency of Indian INR 20 rupees note, but it is enforced with the divine power. Today in the morning also, an American lady had come here for Allah. I had given her. You keep that with you. Whatever you wish, that will happen. Then you believe the divine power. Not by just hearing to my words. Because I have to give you some experiment materials to make you to know what is the divine power. Simply giving lectures or the discourses will not do anything. My Guru has taught me how to enforce the divine power to various objects. And that experiment has been successful. constantly for the past 5 years. That is why lakhs and lakhs of people are coming to me and inviting me to the various places in the whole world. The first experiment material, you take the 20 rupees note with you and keep it with you always. Don't keep it in your almirah or in the puja room. You wherever you go, you take that note with you. That will do two things definitely. One thing, it will protect you. Second one, whatever the wishes, that will happen. Thousands of people are giving the experience. Even in the working area where they are working, you had so much of problems. But when they used to take that, the very such problems are also being solved. That is the first experiment material. The second, we have not but many experiment materials. The second one, the main problem is of the health. I do not say that you do not use any medicines or for that purpose, but I am giving you this packet of turmeric powder, but it is not just a turmeric powder, it is enforced with the divine power. That is an art. That is what the Guru has taught us. It's a great art. It's a great art. It's very great art. How to enforce the divine power to the various objects. Even if I touch you, that will pass you. Just touching, that will pass. And for health, you take just a pinch with water before going to the bed for 5 days. Give a gap for 5 days. Take another for 5 days. Give a gap for 5 days again. Take. Within 2-3 rounds, it is cleared. It is not just for 1 or 2. This is the second experiment material I am giving. Then the third, I have got only 3 for India and for America. And this is, the one is that for all other, more than all other problem, the psychological problem is there. Fear, anxiety, stress, it is there. Without a reason, the stress. Without a reason, anxiety. Without a reason, worry. These are all the psychological. You can find medicines for physical deficiency or diseases, but not to the mental diseases or the psychological factors. This is a photo of Sri Chakra. Sri Chakra, I don't want to go on explaining because I have to conclude. This is nothing but the embodiment of the divine power. So far what I have told, that has been embedded in Sri Chakra, which I used to worship every day. And that has the whole power. I am giving the photo of this. You keep this with you, or if you have any anxiety, sorrows, any negative thoughts, negative vibrations, you keep, either you keep it in your house, or if it is there too much with you, you keep it this below your pillow. Before sleeping, you keep this below your pillow. You will see what the change is there. Then you will understand what is the divine power. I think this is that much we have read. So, okay. So, the whole, what I wanted to conclude and what I wanted to convey you is that there is one more power, one more energy, that is called the divine energy, which can also be used for the welfare of the mankind. We have forgotten that. We have forgotten that. But it is there. Even if you go through the Bible also, there are a few cases of such thing, how Jesus has treated the people. It is there, but we are not going through that, and we are not going through how he has done all those things. That is the lack on our part. No, okay, no problem. It is there in every religion. Even if you go to the Quran also, you will find a few cases of such things. And even go to our Hindu scripts also, you will also going to get that. That is there in the world, not only in one religion, it is there in the all religion. Divine power is not for Hindus. Divine power is not just Christians. Divine power is not Mohammedans. It is for the whole heart. That is why Swami Vivekananda has declared that each soul is potentially divine. You should know the art of invoking the divinity within yourself. That gives you everything. With these words, let us think there is something behind what the physical forms are there within us or around us. There is one more thing. We have to go in search of one more thing which is responsible for all these things in our life. Not only for us, that thing which is responsible for the creation, sustain and the destruction of the whole universe. There is one force, and that force is called the divine force. Why can't we make a step towards that force? That's the whole idea which I am moving in my life even today. But it's really astonishing. Yes, it is true. It is giving the such things. The last but not the least, I always bless everyone, is that no one's life is a cakewalk. No one person can live happily completely throughout the life. Sorrows, happiness, that comes one after another. But whatever may be the thing, you should always keep on smiling. That is very, very important. So always bless everyone that be happy and keep on smiling, whatever it may be. Because all these things comes and goes. But don't lose yourself. Be confident. That confidence itself is the divine, one form of divine. So I bless you all. Be happy and keep on smiling. Be happy and keep on smiling. Be happy and keep on smiling. Jai Shri Mata.
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 Om Hrim Parashaktye Namaha. 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 This is also a great experiment conducted, not by me, but the old Rishis. They have able to enforce the divine power in one letter called Hreem, H-R-E-E-M, Hreem. That has the power, divine power. When you chant Om Hreem Parashakti, that energy will boost in you. That's one of the methodology that they have come. The various stages of experiment. Om Hreem Parashakti. That Hreem is the power packet. If you possible, you chant with me for at least 9 times. Om Hreem Parashaktye Namaha. 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 Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Netrayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike. Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Sarva Mangala Mangalye
Shive Sarvartha Sadike. Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute.
Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike. शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते जय नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ ಆರತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ವಮಂಗಲ ಮಾಂಗಲ್ಯೆ ಶಿವೆ ಸರ್ವಾರ್ಥ ಸಾಧಿಕೆ ಶರಣ್ಯೆ ತ್ರ್ಯಂಬಕೆ ಗೌರಿ ನಾರಾಯಣಿ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೆ ಸರ್ವಮಂಗಲ ಮಾಂಗಲ್ಯೆ ಶಿವೆ ಸರ್ವಾರ್ಥ ಸಾಧಿಕೆ ಶರಣ್ಯೆ ತ್ರ್ಯಂಬಕೆ ಗೌರಿ ನಾರಾಯಣಿ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೆ ಸರ್ವಮಂಗಲ
मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके
नारायणि नमोस्तुते जय नारायणि नमोस्तुते युप्रे ओम अमृतहस्ताय अमृतहस्ताय विद्महे महाशक्तिनेत्राय धीमहि तन्नो अप्पाजि प्रचोदयातु ॐ सुवर्णवृष्टिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः सुधान्यवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः कल्याणवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः विभूतिवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः सुवर्णवृष्टिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः सुधान्यवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः कल्याणवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः विभूतिवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः अम्मा सुवर्णवृष्टिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः सुधान्यवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः कल्याणवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः विभूतिवृद्धिं कुरु मे गृहेशीः लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त सन्मङ्गलानि भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्री जगदम्बार्पणमस्तु सर्वं श्री गुरुचरणार्पणमस्तु।